Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's time to answer another question that barely anybody asks. Instead of electric cars, are hybrids the answer? Right, you may be asking yourself a number of questions right now. Why have I parked next to a busy road? Why am I kneeling down in front of a car? And well, the answer, number one, because I can't find anywhere else to park and do this piece to camera. And two, I bought a really small tripod. That's a hybrid. Okay, so see you soon. So, a little bit of background. Some of you may or may not know, hybrid comes from the Greek word hybrid. Now, that means a combination. So, in Greek mythology, a centaur or a chimera, they are combinations and they are hybrids. When it comes to cars, a hybrid basically means a combination of a combustion engine and electricity. Now, in the case of this is a plug-in hybrid, and that is one of many types of hybrid vehicles. There's four main classes. First of all, there's mild hybrids. Below that, there is micro hybrids. Micro hybrids are basically any car with a start-stop function. So if your car automatically stops its engine when you come to a set of lights and then restarts it as you dip the clutch to set off, that technically is a micro hybrid. It will not run purely on electric, but hey, what the heck? It is a micro hybrid. A mild hybrid is one stage above that. Still can't run on electric only, but it has a bit of a beefier starter motor, and it will help fill in the gaps in the torque curve, whether it's because you've got a small engine or whether you've got a turbocharged engine and there's a bit of turbo lag. The electric motor part of the hybrid will give a little bit of a boost when the petrol engine is lacking. Then we come up to what most people think of are hybrids and Priuses. Priuses are what are called full hybrids. I'm not even going to justify the whole self-charging bollocks. Full hybrids are basically a bigger battery, an independent electric motor which can run the car along the road for a small amount of distance, normally when setting off from lights, and their batteries are charged by basically using that electric motor as a generator and converting your momentum back into electricity and throwing it back in the battery. Then, as you accelerate away, that electricity is used from the battery into the motor until you're up and running, and then the petrol engine kicks back in. Then there is this, a plug-in hybrid. Now, a plug-in hybrid has a lot bigger battery, and because it's got a lot bigger battery, it means it can't just be charged by slowing down to a set of traffic lights. So you plug it into the grid, hence the term plug-in hybrid. I hope you're bearing with me. Now, this Cupra Formentor PHEV 272 plug-in hybrid, because all modern cars need an insanely long name, this can do both. This can do the normal full hybrid thing, which is exactly what it's doing right now and running in electric only. And every time I brake, the battery charge increases. Every time I accelerate away, the battery charge decreases. And then after a while, the motor will kick in, and it's a hybrid. It seems the best of both worlds. Now, we got this because, well, I wanted to answer this question as much as anybody, because I've had two friends who have had hybrids. One of my friends has a Prius, and he drives it around town, and he loves it. He was very, I'm going to say, negative about the fact that people used to try and get into the back of his car thinking it was a taxi, but I think that's a bit of stereotyping. So the only downside he saw to it was the fact that when he was on the motorway, it was no better than any other petrol car because, well, the electricity part had run out and it wasn't actually that efficient. Another benefit of hybrids, which they don't really talk about, is the fact that you can go past horses when you live in a rural setting on electric only, and it doesn't speak for horses. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, friend number one had a Prius, loved it in town because coming up to a set of lights, it would regen, charge the battery, and setting off for lights, it would pull away on electricity, saving him petrol. My other friend, who's a stubborn pain in the arse, and you know who you are, got a BMW 330e as a company car. Lucky boy. But being a stubborn pain in the arse, he refused to charge it. And because he goes up and down the motorway all the time, he never bothered charging it. It would basically do a little bit, like this car, do a little bit of regen, and every time he came off the motorway, it would charge up, and then when he set off again, it would use a little bit of electricity. But he never bothered charging it, and he was getting horrifically bad fuel economy. So I thought, things must have moved on by then, so let's get a hybrid, let's see what it's like. And to be honest, I haven't driven this car much. I've been driving my cars because that's what I do my mileage in. So first of all I can say is I'm not going to do a review on this car. It is not going to be a Formentor is amazing or this is an absolute pile of crap, because as I've pointed out, hybrids seem to work in certain scenarios. So for around town, the original Prius works brilliantly, and that's one of the reasons why taxi drivers use them all the time. The second reason for that they use them, I do all my MOTs for my family's cars through council MOT stations, and I get to speak to quite a few taxi drivers when I'm taking my mother-in-law's car, my daughter's car, my other daughter's car, my prospective son-in-law's car for its MOT. And a few years ago I asked the question, why do you all seem to be driving Priuses now? Is it a fuel economy thing? And they went, no, it's not, because to be honest, they said that when they do things like airport runs or runs outside of a town, the fuel economy isn't actually that much better. Taxi drivers choose them because they don't have to have emissions tests. So if you think of all the taxi drivers used to be driving around in Octavias and Astras and other diesels, taxis need an MOT every 6 months instead of every 12 months here in the UK. So every one of those 6 months, you'd have the possibility of failing the MOT on emissions. Hybrids do not need emissions testing. As we speak, in 2025, no emissions tests. So that is one less thing for that car to fail on when it goes through its 6-monthly MOT. Now, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. Very, very going back to this, there must be a use case where this is positive. Now, obviously, some people are going, oh, it's the best of both worlds. You can have electricity for the town, and then when you get into the open road or you're doing long distances, you could just use the petrol. Cool. I'm going to have to try that out. I want to try that out because at the moment, going off what Michelle said to me when she drives the car, when it runs in electricity, so when we bother charging the battery, because I haven't bothered charging the battery today, and this is running in Prius mode, and currently I'm regenning as I'm coming up to this roundabout. When we use electricity, this car has a 22 kilowatt hour battery. That is almost as big as the battery on the first generation Renault Zoe electric car, and that was its whole floor, whereas the battery in this sits where the spare wheel would normally sit in a normal Formentor. Oh, by the way, you can't say Formentor without sounding slightly middle class. Please feel free to try it. Yeah, when you are running this in purely electric mode as an EV, you can get Michelle can get about 3, maybe 4 days out of the electricity doing a round trip of 15 miles, which, to be honest, is not a bad thing. That's 3 to 4 days where she doesn't have to pay for petrol. Thing is, she does have to pay £5 worth of electricity for those 3 days. So it's not as efficient as an electric car. It uses more electricity than an electric car would. It does have a petrol engine, so if she doesn't charge it, it will kick in and you can use that. So yes, best of both worlds. But this is where my engineer brain kicks in. It's also the worst of both worlds. And I'll try my best to explain this. With a petrol car, you have everything that goes wrong with petrol cars. You have hundreds of moving parts in a combustion engine. Any one of those has a problem, the bigger engine has a massive problem. So let's say the oil pump stops working or the oil pump deteriorates, you get oil starvation in the engine overheats, spins bearings, clatter, clatter, bang, bang, engine's dead. That's a big problem. In an electric car, early electric cars, you have the problem of battery degradation, which is less so in modern electric cars. You have possibility of other issues, but there is almost zero working parts. So you have the problems of electric cars, you have the problems of petrol cars, and hybrids not only have both of those problems, you also have the problems of the integration between the two. So in my mind, yes, it's best of both worlds, but it's also the worst of both worlds. And this is why we got this, because I want to prove to my brain the fact that that's not the case. Somebody somewhere smarter than me in VW Group, in Toyota, in Stellantis, whoever, Ford, they've sharpened their pencils and they've done the work, and they know this is better than what we're expecting. So I'm going to live with this for a few months. I will come back to you and explain if it is, if it's not, but it's going to be at a general level basis, not on the Cupra Formentor is brilliant or the Cupra Formentor hybrid is not. And I don't want to do a review, but all I can say is so far, by the way, this car is great. You may hear a rattle, that's a car seat in the back for my grandchildren. It is brilliant for one thing, it has the Cupra button. Now, if I prod this a number of times, put it into Cupra mode, turn onto this road, give it a little bit of beans. One, it goes a lot quicker, but two, it makes lovely, lovely brum brum noises. And yes, that is another benefit of having a lot of people suddenly have come out of the woodwork and started saying the fact that they want a car, they want to be able to hear their car, they want the engagement of a car. As somebody who's worked in the automotive industry for God knows how long, we have spent, as the industry, 100 years trying to make cars more refined and more quiet, and so that you hear less in the world and that you are cocooned in silence. And then suddenly, as soon as electric vehicles come along and go, here's silence, everybody goes, no, we want to hear the engine. And it's slightly infuriating. But never mind, sorry. Side issue. Yes, so I'm going to come back to you in a few months' time when we hand this back, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of hybrids, because I'm going to use this to go to work about a couple of days and just see if there is a use case where I can get this to work either beneficially for me, or I'll just compare it to how a petrol car would do, because I've used Michelle's petrol Golf previously and I know how much or what MPG that would take to get me to and from work. I know from doing hundreds of trips in EVs what kind of efficiency I get out of EVs going to and from work. So I want to see if I could get this to be anywhere near the EV cheapness wise, or whether it's easier to live with as a petrol. So easy to live with as a petrol. The petrol was a pain in the arse, because to be honest, you had to go a detour just to go to get fueled. Whereas with an EV, I could charge at home and it's about as easy as plugging in my phone at night. So yeah, ease of use of petrol. Anyway, never mind. If you have been, thank you for watching, and I'm sorry for the rant, but hey ho, I will see you in the next one. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Feel free to tell a friend to subscribe, tell a friend just to watch, I don't care. Tell a friend that I'm an absolute idiot and just point out that this is a badly produced video, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye. Hello everybody. I'm too old for this shit. Kneel down. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm about to fall over. Right.